Hello, hello. Happy New Year for those I haven't spoken to already this year. Heather Jean here. I'm so excited to be here with you. And we are at the end of our first for most of us, our first full working week. And I'm reading a lot of stuff online about people sort of going, oh, January blues, or I'm exhausted already, or, I'm here with my dog as well. If you're going to hear weird noises in the background, maybe. But I'm hearing people kind of going, or like resolutions are over. I think next week is the point where the majority of people give up. Statistically, the majority of people give up their resolutions. And if you were following along in December, you'll know I'm not a big fan of resolutions. But we are naturally goal seeking, and it is so important for us to have that sense of goals and that sense of progress as we progress through life. So, as you know, or for those of you I'm just meeting for the first time, I help coach women to love their body and to be visible and to raise their voice and grow confidence to show up every day and really own your space. And that's the vision for Confidence Through Cabaret, is to really help people start from where they're strong and then grow and build from there. And so for a lot of us, if we're already starting to, feel like we're giving up on our goals, or maybe our goals weren't quite set right, then it's really key for us to have a happy new year and a happy, sustainable year, by making our goals be set properly. I'm really sorry. I'm easily distracted, and my dog is on the sofa. He's not supposed to be throwing a blanket in the air, so it's kind of like a distraction. But anyway, perfectly imperfect, right? We're just showing up anyway. We're showing up as visible. Nothing bad happens when that happens. So let's talk a little bit about happiness. The statement, it's a truism, and for a reason, because it's true. Happiness is a choice. Whew. Okay, that is true, but it's way easier said than done, because once we take the external events and internalize them, then we have all kinds of thoughts and feelings and fears, and all kinds of things come up for us. And most of the difficult times and most of the unhappiness is created inside of us. And when I talk to women, not only but especially women, about loving their body, they'll say, "Yeah, but I want to make some changes," and yeah, but and it's that. This is what I want, and I'm not happy where I am. And that's not the purpose of goals. We have to accept where we are now, so that we can maintain and sustain the momentum and the motivation to keep moving forward, and to be celebrating along the way or adjusting along the way if we need to. And there's two elements to happiness. There's having our own personal vision of what are we personally driving for in the now, in our accepting, what are we envisioning, and then having that hope and that focus for the future. And that's where goal setting really comes in. And so I'm running a webinar actually on the 18th of January, which is all about the now and the kind of the where we are, and accepting and wanting to be visible where we are now in order to show up in our businesses. But I want to talk a little bit about that hope and focus for the future. When you think about happiness and when you think about setting goals, very often we just set goals in our business, or we might set personal goals for a specific topic, for example, our fitness or our healthy eating. But it's really about being a lot more holistic about it. It's about thinking about just really free flowing initially, and really creating and not evaluating. That's the brainstorm part of it, is just create, and then we can evaluate later. But what we want to be thinking about is, what kind of experiences do we want to be having in this year? What kind of growth are we looking for in this kind of year? And at this point, we're talking anything goes. And then what kind of meaning or fulfillment do we want to enjoy in the year? And that's where we start to really create our vision and our hope and focus for the future. And so, it's the expression where focus goes, energy flows. We say that over and over again. If we're focusing on the negatives of what we can't have, or what maybe goals that we set for last year that we didn't achieve, and now we're trying to set them again for this year. I've said this, I think, this week in the community. That's the definition of insanity, right? We all know that doing the same thing over and over, and expecting different results is madness. So creating that vision, and I would say spend a few minutes, like maybe as much as 5 minutes, really considering and imagining and allowing, what experiences do you want to have in this year? What growth do you want to enjoy in this year? And then what fulfillment and meaning are you looking for in this year? And then, you when you do that, then you can start to engage with, picturing the goals, and establishing the goals and so on. And I did a whole post on this in the Confidence Through Cabaret Facebook community, earlier, I think it was at the beginning of January, so just a few days ago now. I'm a fan of SMART goals, but I don't set goals by SMART. I've worked for 25 years as a training consultant and confidence and career coach for corporations. And, when people take the acronym SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, then we it puts it into boxes, and that really inhibits our creativity and our flow. Smart really should be something as a check back later to sort of see, are these things specific enough? Do I need to make them more specific? But we should be free flow writing our goals first. And again, I recommend you start with experiences, then move on to what kind of growth do you want to enjoy, and then what meaning or fulfillment are you looking for in the year. So you can go back and check the goals post if you're in the Confidence Through Cabaret community, and if you're not, then reach out to me, and I can send you that. But goals are important for focusing and for clarifying, and for us to be able to recognize our achievements and the shifts we need to make, as I've already said. But what we have to be able to do is to break down that bigger goal into sort of a plan, a strategy, whatever you want to call that, and then break that down into our day-to-day or weekly action plans. I set to-do lists and plans for each day. Very often things move across to the next day. So I tend to prefer having weekly kind of plans. By the end of this week, these things will be done. And then I break that down into what kind of time is that going to take, and where will that fit into each of my day. If you struggle with this, send me a DM. I am more than happy to help you with that. It is not a sales pitch. I'm just happy to help you with that, because this stuff comes very naturally to me, because I've helped clients for so long doing it, and it won't take us long to kind of build that structure. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about going deeper than, writing your goals out, and then, making sure that they're smart or specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And that is in the form of something that we talk about in NLP, or neuro linguistic programming, of which I'm a practitioner. And that's about well-formed outcomes. And it goes a little bit more into our subconscious. It goes a little bit deeper into engaging our mind and body. And I am all about engaging mind and body. So things to think about when you think about a well-formed outcome. Well, there's some criteria. First of all, it has to be stated in the positive. So if you're going to, let's say, quit eating junk food, or you're quit eating sugar, or quit smoking, or quit anything, you need to rewrite it. Even though that would achieve the SMART criteria if you wrote it properly, it's still an away from goal. And we are way more motivated when we write a towards goal. So if you're already suffering the January blues, you're already feeling like you're off track, go back and check your goals. Are they actually well-formed outcomes? Are they written or established in the positive? So instead of, I want to lose 10 pounds, it might be, I want to become more fit. It might be, I want to eat more healthy. It might be, I want to, I don't know, I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. It's, what are you working towards? What is that statement of, let's say, losing 10 pounds? What does that mean? And that's the next part, is that a well-formed outcome needs to have representation. So in other words, our sensory representation is our senses of smell, taste, touch, sight, Right. See, here's, wait, see, hear, see, hear, taste, touch, smell. Oh my goodness. I knew I wanted to say five. So what we can see when we achieve that and really engage and embrace that. How will I know when I look 10 pounds lighter if that was my goal? What can I hear? It might be compliments from other people. It might be me, you know, squeals of glee and excitement. It might be that, I'm hearing less puffing while I'm walking around the block. So see and hear, and then what would I be able to feel? So that could be feeling inside, and that could also be feeling in our body. So, how do my clothes feel, for example? And then taste and smell, olfactory and gustatory, they're a little bit harder to put into some of them. But if you can really just close your eyes and imagine achieving that well-formed outcome, that positively stated goal, and how will I know when that's working, or that's being achieved? So that's two of the well-formed outcome criteria. Another one of the well-formed outcomes criteria is that it needs to be possible and achievable. Now, it's something that can happen. That doesn't mean it's something that you can already do. So, lots of people in the goal setting kind of guru world talk about, we shouldn't actually be able to achieve our goals at the point of setting them. And I agree with that. Lots of companies will say we set way bigger goals than we expect to achieve, but we will achieve some of them. And there's a major telecoms company that I've worked for almost 25 years, and they talk, about these huge goals, and it's ridiculous, it's impossible, but they get further by the end of the year than they would have, and they don't worry about the part that would be considered a failure, because we fear that word failure so much, and we don't need to. So big and goals that are possible. But if you only said what was possible, we wouldn't have smartphones, probably. We wouldn't have internet. We wouldn't have Zoom or whatever way of connecting with people, if everybody just stuck to what is possible or what can be achieved. So we want it to be something that is extending us. And so that's where, if you go back to that first exercise of thinking about what you want to experience, what kind of growth and fulfillment do you want from the new year, then you can set bigger goals. And, even if you want to get to 70% of that, it would still be further along than you would be if you were just setting goals that you can already achieve. So if you made, I don't know, if you made 50,000 somethings last year, and now you want to make 100,000, and you think, "Ooh, that's too big a leap," then I would say push it and go to 120 or 150. Go further, because we're naturally goal seeking, right? So we're going to work towards that, and we'll probably exceed it, where that is. Like the seeding, isn't it? So making sure that they're stated in the positive, making sure that we're engaging our sensory information, and then really making sure that they're achievable, but beyond, what we can already do right now. And it is important in the well-formed outcomes that we have a clear time frame. And those time frames aren't meant as a threat. Deadlines are not meant to be, kind of looming. Deadlines are meant to keep us on track. So that having that time scale helps us to keep it kind of on track, and helps us to be able to measure how we're doing with that. And then the final thing that I wanted to say about well-formed outcomes is that they need to be ecological. In other words, we need to have a consideration for ourselves, and are we in the right environment? Are we in the right space? For example, if you're taking on a big goal and increasing yours and growing your business and growing your body and doing so many things all at once, then it's the right time and place for you to do it. And if not, keep it. If you have a vision board, keep it there. And it might be something that you need to look at a later stage. You know, when we set these goals, they have to be something that are doable, which is quite different to achievable. And if we're in a space or environment, for example, the rest of my goals for January are going to be out the window. I'm going to do some of them. I'm going to try, I'm not adjusting my goals, but I'm going to try to do them. But I very unexpectedly have to go to Atlantic Canada later this month to find my son. Now, those weren't things that I planned or things that those are things that are happening external to me. They're not excuses. They're not kind of, oh, yeah, well, I wasn't feeling well. They're actually things that I can't avoid and I need to manage and focus on. And that means that ecologically, I'm not in the right space to, carry on with the goals for the rest of the month, at least not until I've returned from Canada. So um, that means that I need to adjust for the year. It doesn't mean I'm going to bring the outcome goals down. So if you are ready to really grow your personal results, if you want to, you know, capture and cultivate your visibility and your confidence for this year, if those are related to your goals, if you want to be able to connect with clients greater, I really believe that if we don't feel good where we are, then we there's a barrier automatically. Before we even jump onto a sales call with somebody or before we even connect with somebody, it makes it much harder for them to be able to build rapport and trust with us. And so having confidence and being able to be visible and show up is absolutely key. If you want to join me, I'm doing a free live webinar. I do lots of these webinars, but the next one is the 18th of January. I'm so excited. I've been working really hard to incorporate a little bit further because lots of people have already been on my body confidence webinars. Lots of people have already been on my imposter syndrome webinars, but I really want to go further than that and extend into others of confidence to show up and be visible. So that's something that you would be interested in, then send me a DM or drop an emoji below and we can connect and I can send you the registration link. So I'm so excited for this year. And that's how our goals should be. That's how we should be. We should be excited for it. And that's because I've spent the time putting my goals in positive. I've spent my time, connecting with my sensory information. I've spent my time really considering what do I want to experience? How do I want to grow? And what fulfillment am I seeking this year? And I've put in the work and it is working. I'm feeling so great. I mean, I've just told you about something that's very difficult in my personal life and it's still existing, but it's not something that's derailing me emotionally, drain me emotionally. And that's not because I'm a monster, because I don't have feelings. That's just because I'm able to connect with my goals so clearly. And with that, life is going to happen. And that doesn't mean that my confidence is shaken. In fact, I have very unshaken confidence and I'm very comfortable and excited for others to be able to tune into this visibility and to be able to feel good in the body. We can have difficult times or be where we are and it might not be where we want to be. And there might be a gap and they can both coexist. And I want to show you how. I mean, on the 18th of January, if that's something that serves you around creating confidence and showing up for your clients. If you want some help with your goals, and you really aren't sure how to structure it, then that's on me. I'm more than happy to jump onto a confidence call with you. And that's not a sales pitch. That's just let's do this because it's week 1 in January and we want you to feel good so that you can carry on for the rest of the year effectively. So thank you so much for joining me. I love you all. I'm so happy that we're here in a community together where we support and uplift unshakable confidence together. I'm Heather Jean. I'm here to remind you that it is your body and it is your world and it is your stage. Take up space. Own it.